Let's see. So I guess we can go ahead and get started. Let's see. Laura is not here today, so I'll go ahead and I guess get our disclaimer. And I just want to say good morning. And let's see. Do feel free to unmute yourself anytime you'd like to speak. Just be mindful of everybody else by muting yourself when you're not speaking, and you're welcome to put any contact information or say anything you'd like to share. Just make sure that it is something you want to share because this does go out there and anybody can get your information. So we're not endorsing anything specifically, but anything, do your own due diligence, and we do meet every Friday. So with that being said, if anybody would like to unmute themselves, please feel free. I do have just a couple of announcements that I do want to make. We do have our networking breakfast next week. Next Tuesday, that's the 13th, and that's at the Shack. So it's between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. So if you can make it there, that's great. It's a good opportunity to network with other investors and like-minded people. Then on the 20th, our main event this month is with we're going to have a couple of speakers, which this ought to be really good. In fact, Laura and I canceled our plans to make sure we could make it too. So we had to rearrange some stuff. But we have as our main speaker, Pat Heiser, which is a longtime supporter of STLREIA. You probably know Pat. If you don't, I do encourage you to get to know her because she is one of the most knowledgeable people in our group, been around, a very long time supporter. She will be talking about the property assessment appeals process. So I don't know if you're like the rest of us and you're getting all your increases in the in your property taxes right now. I know I seen one of our members the other day just said he got it. Well, David's got his. Yeah, I got a stack of them here. But I know one of our members I just seen had 100% increase on one of his properties. So I know he'll be there, and that's something you want to make sure that you find out about because it is a process. And if you know the right way to do it, you do have a good chance of getting some of your taxes reduced to a more fair, what is more fair for you. So be sure and be there early at the Moolah Shrine Center. That's at 12545 Fifi Road, the Moolah Shrine Center. It's the Oasis Room. We also have another speaker that's going to be there on the 20th too, and that's Grace's husband, which is Matt Reed, and he will be talking about siding, windows, and roofing. He will be in the early session, so be sure you make it early. Doors open at 6:30, so make sure you get there in time to get a good seat. Only other thing I would like to say is if you have not got your survey yet, do check your email from your STLREIA survey. We are trying to work on improving our meetings and some of the things we do. So I do have one I put in the chat here. So if you haven't got it, please maybe click on there. It only takes, it's just a couple of questions. Takes you less than 2 minutes to fill that out, but it would really help us a lot as far as our future meetings and the way our direction is going. Because as you know, we are a nonprofit. Everybody volunteers their time. And, because we want to help the group. And that's what we want from you too, is because you are a part of it. We're all partners in this. So anyway, if you could do that, just spend a couple minutes filling that out, that would be very helpful. I see Lloyd came in here. Lloyd, would you like to say anything, or we're just sitting here?
No, John, I think you covered the territory with the announcements that I usually try to get in. I appreciate it. I'm sorry I was running late because I am working on my appeals for my assessments. I got carried away. You can spend a lot of time putting a good package together, and I am going to hold off before I turn mine in until after I hear Pat, because I'm sure she'll have some additional good ideas for me to add to my packages. So looking forward to that meeting next on the 20th. Because in St. Charles County here, we've got till the second Monday in July to turn in to get an appointment with the Board of Equalization. So we get a little time after, and it's probably something similar in St. Louis, I assume. But no, looking forward to that. Sorry, I was running a little late here and missed out on the last couple weeks here. Thank you for continuing. Okay, is Laura there today to do the?
No, she isn't. I did the disclaimer for her.
You did?
I didn't sound as good as her. She's got a little bit more polished, but no, she had to step out. So
Okay.
she'll be back in a little bit. But yeah, we're good to go. Just as just like I said, if anything you would like to share, feel free to do so and put your contact information. I like to always say do it verbally as well as put it in the chat so they can get it right. But only share stuff you'd like to share with everybody because it goes out to everybody. And as always, do your own due diligence. We're here to share stuff, but we're not here to recommend anything. So that's about all I have to say. So.
Okay, anybody else have anything?
Hey, can you put in the chat the address for the breakfast? Because normally I couldn't make those breakfasts, but this Tuesday I could be able to make it. If you could put the address in for me.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. I got the newsletter here. Yeah, I've been made every one of them so far, and been good. We had some really good discussions. Let's see. Got it. Yeah, there it is on the bottom of the third page, and you should be getting your newsletter here in the mail this week. This is always the second Tuesday.
Yeah, the shack, it's at 12521 Olive Boulevard. So if you can put that in the chat, that'd be great, Lloyd. And then also if you're just listening like on a replay, it's 12521 Olive Boulevard. That's the shack. And that's from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on June 13th. It's the second Tuesdays of the month, but which will be next week. So
yep.
Here we go.
There you go.
And if you're able to if you haven't filled out the survey, please do so. I'm going to put that in there for those just joining. I know it only shows up like that. We've had a lot of people fill that out. We do appreciate it very much, but this will definitely help all of us in future meetings and our direction here. So if you could fill that out for us, that would be great.
Yeah, because like John said, we are a group of investors run by our members, and so we're looking for input from members. We're not probably one of the only the only investor group in St. Louis that ask you what kind of programs do you want to hear? Well, who would you like for speakers? If you heard a great speaker, if you heard about somebody you'd like to get to come, let us know, or a topic you want to hear about. Yeah, this is your opportunity to have a say in how your group runs. That's what we're all about. Yeah, I was surprised that you said somebody's taxes went up, assessment went up 100%. That's something I thought mine were phenomenal. This is the biggest increase I've ever seen. Mine went up from 21% up to 31%. So I thought that was pretty outrageous. Normally I only look at the ones that are 15% and up. And their share is like, oh my gosh. And I haven't gone in for going through the appeals process for probably been 6 or 8 years. Things have been pretty steady, and it's still increasing, but nothing outrageous. But man, this year it's been off the charts. But especially if you haven't made any improvements to your house, they're comparing the few I noticed in the comps that I'm pulling, and that's what you got to do. You got to pull comparable sales because that's what their thing is based on. Their value is based on. And those are the ones that have been rehabbed. Like, I know, I don't see, any of the rehabbers on here today that when they put theirs on the market, it's going to attract a lot of attention because everything is freshly rehabbed and it's like a new house on the inside. David Randolph, who's who I was thinking of in particular, he brags about selling his houses in 7 days or less with over the asking price. So
we're fairly new to St. Louis, so we're shocked by the taxes anyway. And then the little letter that came in the mail, I was like, what am I getting for this? But it is what it is.
Now, you're shocked, Jeff. Where are you coming from?
Well, we moved here from St. Joseph, Missouri, 2 years ago, October, and St. Joseph is actually ridiculously low, and nobody will pass any taxes, but they complain about the schools and everything. So I laugh at people when they complain back there, but it's still a bit of a shock when you come here, and then to get the increase we just got. But I know what I paid for my house, and it's still assessed less than that. So I don't know how I would argue it.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you know it's, like you said, if you bought your house 2 years ago when you moved here, and it's assessed at less than, you probably don't have too much to.
No. I just wish they'd at least scoop my street for all that tax money. So
Yeah. Well, out here in St. Charles, I can't complain about that.
We're in
They
the
took
city.
perfectly good streets and put down new asphalt just because they got the money.
Yeah, well, that's nice. We're in the city. I have no idea where it goes.
Mhm.
So
every taxing district has their own rules and can set their assessments and what their tax rates are, but hopefully it's being well spent.
Well, there's a lot of things we don't think about with our taxes too. We like to go to parks. We like to drive on streets. We like to walk on sidewalks. I mean, we like safe neighborhoods. There's a lot. It does seem like there's a lot of waste out there, but overall, I mean, they can make a street and a sidewalk out in front of my place cheaper than I can do it.
Yeah.
So, and they'll do a better job. So, but I mean, it is kind of ridiculous, but if you can save any amount you can save, and that's why I'm really encourage you to show up for our main event if you at all can, because they don't like Lloyd, like you just said, they don't look at everything. I mean, so David Randolph's improving the houses to make them, worth more. And, a lot of people that meet on here are doing that. But some of them, when you just have a rental property, I know in some of the houses I have that they went up on, there was no improvement even on the neighborhood, and I can't see where anything's gone up. So, that's something to definitely be aware of. So,
and those are the two. I'm not going. I figured if I went down and complained about everything, they're just figure you're another complainer. I picked the two properties that I got that they're not necessarily the highest percentage increase, but the highest value for saving taxes. And they were two houses that were built in the 90s, typical Whitaker homes. So there's a lot of easy comps, but they're built in the 90s. And I've had them in rentals, one since 2009, another one I procured in 2016, that were basically no improvements have been made since they were built. And I just maintain them as rentals. They're nice rentals, and you keep maintaining them. Yeah, replace things that are broken. When the carpet gets worn out, I replace the carpet. But I'm not putting 30 or 40,000 into updating the kitchens and another 20 or 30 into updating all the bathrooms to make them comparable to what the comps that they're trying to say in the neighborhood, because everybody else is in my neighborhoods, everybody else is primarily homeowners, and they are keeping their properties up. They're in good neighborhoods. So, but if you're just looking at the value of a particular property, it hasn't had those updates. It can skew things, and so I'm hoping to make a good case for that. Take a lot of pictures, and And it's easy to get pictures of comps these days because you got Zillow and realtor.com. If it's been listed on Zillow in the last 10 years, your pictures should still be up there. So, and I'm pictures of my rentals are on there because I advertise my rentals on Zillow. So that's making it a little easier than it used to be when I first started going through the appeals process. But I found, I don't know if anybody else has, the last time I went through the appeals process, they do, at least in St. Charles, they do an informal, you can have an informal hearing with somebody in the assessor's office. They'll look at the facts and generally if there's something, if they've got some information wrong in their files on, the square footages or the number of bathrooms or the finish on the basement, that kind of things, they'll make a correction. But as far as I found that the last time I did it, like I said, it's been 6 or 8 years ago. I didn't get very far with the assessor's office themselves on the value because they basically all of their numbers were in line. They had the right number of bathrooms and the right square footages, but they didn't budge much on the value that, because it had not had all the improvements of it, like the comparable sales had. So this year I'm just going right to the appeals process, going to the Board of Equalization. And I'm sure it's similar probably in St. Louis County and city too. And after that, if you're not satisfied, you can still take it to the state. So, okay. What's anybody else want to talk about today?
Well, I'm looking for something for a neighbor. Somebody that does shrub or tree removal. I know anybody for that?
And in what neighborhood? What area?
Overland.
Pardon?
Overland.
Overland. Okay, Overland. Okay, so central location. So you shouldn't have any problem getting anybody. I've used some cheap guys in the past and regretted it when they left the mess and got the neighbor all upset with the way they were trimming one of my trees that hung over onto their side. So I've gone back to using, for years I'd used Hanson Tree Service here in St. Charles County, but I know they go all over all over the city and county too. So I've kind of given up on some of the fly-by-night guys that give you a cheap bid and then you're lucky if they finish the job. The one I was talking about never did finish the job. So had to hire somebody. I think I hired Hanson to come back a year later to finish up the trees that I wanted to taken down that they didn't get to.
So a guy that goes to my church, his name is Ted. He's run his own tree and cutting business for years and years and years. And his business is called County Tree Service. And he has a lot of employees and, has done really well.
They're a bigger company and they have, have all the insurance and equipment, the right equipment.
Yeah, they have all the stuff.
The guys I was talking about were two brothers that had a broken down pickup truck and a chipper that some days it worked and some days it didn't.
Oh yeah, no, this is his main business. His main business.
And they hired some high school kids to drag the branches to the chipper. And so that, like he said, I didn't know. I saw him doing a small job in my neighborhood here and said, hey, I got one of their cards. But then I had a bigger job that I was asking them to do and they didn't have the equipment or the staff to handle it. Let's put it that way.
Do you have some contact information on that, Mary? And also, Lloyd, do you have some on that service you're talking about? If you could.
Let me look. Oh, sure.
I'll have to go see if I can open up multiple browser windows and try to keep the Zoom meeting and Google it real quick. I'm going to see if I can figure that out.
In my contacts.
Because if you do it, that definitely helps other people.
Well, yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we're here to share as much as we can, and that's a good way to do it.
Okay, County Tree Service is in Valley Park, but they're gonna travel wherever. It's 636-529-0999. I'll just, I know you like it in the chat too, so I will just copy and paste this.
Okay,
too.
you said 636-529.
290999. I'll just copy and paste it. I actually have another friend that does a tree service specifically and has done it for like 20 something years, but I can't think of his business name right now. So
Okay.
it's not very helpful for you, but I have like 2 different friends that have tree businesses and that's like all they do.
Okay, great. Okay. And Lloyd, if you have the one you were talking about, not the one you don't want, but the other
I
one.
just put, yeah, no, I'm not gonna give you that one. Give me
Okay.
Hanson
Oh, there
Tree.
we go.
Just put it in there. Yeah, 636-379-1830 is Hanson Tree Service.
Great. Okay.
I have a question. I'm obviously just starting out my investing journey in St. Louis. Have flipped a house back in St. Joe, still have a duplex there. The question I have back in St. Joe, I can buy a lot of 1-2 bedroom houses for $25,000 to $30,000. Put 10 to 15 in them, have an ARV of 75. So I've got a contract on a wholesale house, and I have a young man back there who did a lot of work for us, and it's kind of the house to try him out as him doing the whole deal. And we, in essence, flip it together. Now I know what I'm finding. And so I'm on here to I want to meet people and connect here in St. Louis for, to help people out and for them to be a resource to me. But so for the most hard money lenders, I think the lowest I've found is 75 grand. And I'm looking at a total spend of 50 grand or less. Is there any resources for that amount that anybody knows?
Yeah, John, this is Chuck Grothen. Can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah,
Why don't you go ahead?
there's some that'll go below that. I'll have to check there's a lot of private lenders changing their programs a little right now, but I have had one that's low as 30.
Okay. If you happen to run across that name, I appreciate it.
Well, I'm a private money lender for that group, so I can get good a deal as anybody can with that.
Can you send your info, and after this I'll email or call you?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm glad I showed up, even though I was late. I couldn't find the meetup link. So
I'm trying to get on the computer, and for some reason I can't get on. I got on my phone so I could listen in.
I have that problem some days.
Okay.
I'm not one of those youngins that speak naturally.
Yeah, I'll just tell you this quick. It's Lakeview Investment Strategies. I'll try to type it in too.
Okay.
Phone number 815-324-2133. And I've also got a landing page at the lakeviewinvestmentstrategies.com, or you can do the email at Gmail.
And it's strategies, right? Okay, perfect. I probably when we're done with this, I'll give you a shout if that'd be okay.
I'm going to be tied up for about an hour after the meeting, but
okay, I'll call you, leave a message when you get free. Give me a call.
Sure. Sounds good.
Perfect.
Okay, good. That's what we're about here, making contacts. So glad you could join us here, Jeff.
Hey, can I ask a question of Jeff, just because I'm curious, what's the real estate market like in St. Joe?
It is. I mean, it's like anywhere there's not enough inventory, but St. Joe is it's not as old as St. Louis, but it's an old town, and it has a disparity. There is there are sections very working class. South part of St. Joe is very working class. A lot of immigrants. It's a great place to own single family rental because they pay in cash, they pay on time. One of my banker friends who banks and my realtor friend, they both will take any property in South. So there's a lot of properties that need rehab that can be had for a low price, and you can either flip them to yourself and make rents, or actually rents are higher there than here. We were shocked when we moved here that for the price you'd pay for a duplex here, you didn't get more rent because back in St. Joe, I mean, we purchased a duplex. Now this was finished, move-in ready. We did this so our daughter could live in one side, but for $195, and it's 2-bedroom, 1 bath on each side, has a garage, and we get $1,100 rent for that. And I know in the city, when we were first looking at duplexes, you know, 2-bedroom, 1 bath was getting $900. Now they've come up since, so it's more, but I would have to pay $295, $350. So yeah, if you want to invest, and it's rents compared to the price you pay are very good. Yeah, and if you're interested, I can give you a realtor's name or something like that, or pass along wholesale deals I don't want. Happy to share.
Okay. Yeah, no, Amber has, I think she's got at least one rental in Kansas City.
Okay.
That's probably why she.
Yeah,
she was curious.
it's I don't know how rents are in Kansas City. It's fair. It's similar, but you can find stuff very inexpensively in St. Joe.
Mhm. That's good to know.
Okay, Ellie Jean, do you have a couple of properties, in South Carolina and Arkansas? Would you like to tell us about those? Can you unmute yourself there? Is that possible? I see. And maybe give some little information and contact information on it, if you can. Maybe you can't. I see also, Mary, you have a one.
Yeah, is Eli gonna speak or?
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. So yeah, why don't you go ahead?
Okay,
In case they come on.
okay, well, I had some investment funds because my mother passed away in 2017, and now just a few weeks ago my father passed away, and so that's been another wave of things to invest with. And so it's becoming, thank you, Amber, it's even becoming even more like the pressure's on to like do something with it, you know, because I still haven't bought anything. I'm still renting in Chesterfield. It's like, what am I doing? What am I doing out here? It's so expensive, and I'm by myself. I'm now living, you guys would be just disgusted. I'm living in a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath by myself. Because I don't know what else to do. So I need to figure this out. But anyway, so I am willing to move, and I'm thinking for a first-time home buyer. I still don't know whether I want to use cash or not. I know you guys are all like anti using cash for things, but I have a high stress level and I don't like debt. I have issues with it. So I don't know. I'm thinking about being a cash buyer. And I know that with a first-time home buyer loan, I could get up to a 4-family, but I guess if I'm buying cash, doesn't really matter what I do. But I was wanting at least 3 other units for cash flow because I want to live in it. Because I want to not be a renter anymore out here in Chesterfield, even though it's safe. And I'm just so used to being in like safe world out here that like I'm a little scared of all the things that I read about out in, like, I was looking at properties last night, and you know, I find that I was looking in like Tower Grove South and like Bevo Mill area. I know that's like a really hot area, like all the cool hip people are, you know, developing it over there. You know, the young artsy people, which of course I have aspirations to be one of those artsy people. So I thought that would be cool. But anyways, I don't know who's looking, West County, Linda. Okay. So anyways, I'm looking to buy something, and I like garages. And I noticed that a lot of the 4 families, duplexes, et cetera, in the city, like don't have garages. Like it seems pretty rare to find anything with a garage.
Mary,
So
Mary, we live in the city. We live just off the hill.
yeah,
And we love our neighborhood, never had any problems, but
really.
and a neighborhood we would move to in a heartbeat is over around Francis Park in St. Louis Hills. There's some really super fourplexes. If you can, they go quick, but you're
I
a cash
bet.
buyer. Right next to the park. They seem to have a
Like
great
Tower Grove Park? What
No, no.
park?
This is Francis Park, so it's
Francis Park.
yeah, it's west of Hampton. They do a lot of community activities. Francis Park now has a beer garden. So we'll go over there, lots of dogs, kids, families, every age. And we met a guy there who is doing what you're talking about doing. So I choose Tower Grove South over Bevo Mills for safety, just from what I know in the short time I'm here. But I would say Francis Park area would be even safer and more desirable, just if you're wanting to come more into the city. And
Yeah, I think I'm kind of a
safe.
wuss.
Yeah,
I hear a
yeah.
lot of bad stories about
Yeah.
like gunshots and crazy neighbor. I mean, I have a crazy neighbor now, and I live in Chesterfield,
Yeah,
so
there's
she like screams
gunshots.
at her kid every day. Like, I mean, so it happens everywhere.
It happens
But at least she doesn't
everywhere.
have a gun though, and she's not gonna like assault me with a weapon.
Yeah,
Um,
you just haven't seen it yet, but it's it's everywhere. But you do what makes you comfortable. But it's me and my wife, and sometimes I travel. We both feel safe here.
Okay, so give me some street names like Francis Park. Like, how would I find that on a map? You said Francis Park.
Eichelberger, and Jameson. If you do Francis Park, it'll show up on the map immediately.
Oh, okay, so like just that area.
Yeah, and
Just
they go
fourplexes.
all out at like Halloween and Christmas. Everybody decorates their houses. Candy Cane Lane. People drive from all over the city to drive through it. There's Ted Drew's on the edge of it. If that, lots
Okay.
of Mexican restaurants. It's really walkable. So, yeah, just if
Thank
you
you.
want to check it out, yeah.
And who wouldn't want to be walking distance from Ted Drew's? Yeah,
I know this isn't the meeting for that, but I honestly think Ted Drew's is totally like blown up. I think like honestly, Froyo is better than Ted Drew. I mean, like, because you can build it. Your Ted Drew's is, I think, overrated. I'm gonna be the unpopular person. I think it's totally overrated. You could literally get Menchie's or Froyo or whatever and build it yourself, and it tastes better and it's healthier because it's frozen yogurt instead of a
Well,
concrete, which I don't know what.
I'm not disagreeing, it may be healthier.
Yeah, totally healthier. Menchie's has
I
like
don't eat Ted Drew's
probiotics
every
in it.
day, so.
Yeah,
but
I had it once and I was
great.
like, this is such a letdown. Like, I can get better stuff in the county. Like, I don't know. But anyways, that's my 2 cents.
So Mary,
Um,
give my
Go
2
ahead,
cents.
Amber.
Yep, just my 2 cents, because I've heard you before wanting to buy a house. And I want to caution you because as my mother has told me in the past, you've got some cash burning in your pocket. You're ready to spend it. But I encourage you to go slow and get what you want and don't rush into a decision. That's all.
So you think I should just stay out here in Chesterfield? I mean, I'm in,
No,
so I am.
I'm just saying, don't rush into a decision because people, you may find yourself overspending on a property then just because you want it, right? And you just want to get into that one. You may fall in love with it. So you spend more. So you have the cash, I get it. But I would say just be patient until the right one comes your way.
I appreciate that. I think I'm just like stressing out that I'm renting in Chesterfield because like my dad lived here for like 30 years with me, like, or not with me. I mean, he lived here for 30 years. Then I moved in with him and then he passed away. So it's like I'm here and I'm still in the same rent amount. And so I'm grandfathered in at a lower rate than other people because it hasn't been updated in over 30 years now. Like, so the windows are old and all this kind of stuff. So the rent is lower out here than it would be for the same amount. Like my neighbors pay more than me. I'll just put it that way.
So
So
what
it's
you,
like-
you run into is a house rich, cash poor situation, right? So it sounds to me like you're comfortable where you're at. There's nothing really wrong with where you're at, but you have the cash and you want to go spend it. So then you go spend it on a house. I mean, and again, this is just my 2 cents, and take it or not, but
Right.
don't rush into a decision because you got money, so go spend it. You don't have to.
I just
Unless
feel
you-
like I'm wasting money as a renter. Don't you get, I thought renting was like a waste. Isn't
Not
renting,
necessarily for the right people, not necessarily. If that is what works for you, that's what works for you. If your goal is to be a landlord, then you can still be a landlord and rent. Whatever works for you. Many people do it. Make the numbers need to make sense for you.
yeah.
Yeah, and what Amber just said reminded me of something that I don't know if you heard of John Schwab. He's a very wise investor from Florida, and I know the Heisers get a lot of their advice from him. I think he rented a house for his personal residence, rather than, because he could live in Florida, he could have a lot nicer, bigger house without spending the money. And he invested his money in rentals, and he had a lot of rentals.
Gotcha.
And paid for his rent to live in it. Apparently in Florida, anyway, there's a lot of big, nice houses that people don't use or don't need anymore. And they, for the price that he could have to buy it, he could rent it for a lot more reasonable price.
Yeah, like Grant Cardone says the same thing. I thought I would watch some webinar where he said rent where you live and then the same thing you're saying. So it's like, I thought it sounds revolutionary, but I don't know. I mean, I guess that's a whole strategy.
Yeah. Depends on how you want to live. And so he wanted to live in a very nice house,
Charles,
so
goodness.
he could live in a lot nicer house than he could afford to buy by renting it.
Right.
Well, the other thing like Grant Cardone tries to get across is your house is not an asset.
True.
A rental is an asset.
I mean,
That's-
unless you have roommates, I guess. Yeah. So I guess it depends on how you're doing your house. Like right now, this is a total. I mean,
Well-
so I could move to a place like that's not Chesterfield, like in Overland. I could probably rent for the same amount I'm paying now. It's like $1,025 right now, right here, plus utilities. But I get nothing. I cannot have roommates. I can't have anything. So I feel like very powerless here. I feel like the money's getting sucked from me and I feel like I have no power. So it's like, I'd rather move somewhere where I can have roommates and the landlord isn't so controlling. And then I can like be making money even as a renter. I could be renting out all the other spaces and like leveraging even as a renter. And I feel like here as an entrepreneur or as a business person, I feel like I feel like I can't, like, I feel like he's got me. He's got my goat. I can't like.
If you would, just give me a call. There are so many different options that you should be looking at.
Okay, Charles, I will.
Or a duplex or a quadplex, buy it and then get it performing and then use one unit
That's what I was thinking.
as your residence. So,
Okay, somebody's got Eli's posting deals. Okay. That's in South Carolina. I want to invest in St. Louis because I live here. This is where my life's at. My friends are at, my church is at.
and
So
I can also bring up properties for you to consider.
okay,
Because-
Charles, we'll chat. We'll chat. Because it's a new situation now than it was even 2 months ago. So it's okay if you're renting. Thanks, Linda. I appreciate it. Okay. Invest my money. Invest my money? What do you mean? Invest my money? Oh, invest it instead of buying a house. Is that what you're trying to say, Linda? I don't know if she's agreeing. I'm guessing. Yes.
I think she's saying to not leave it in a bank account where you're losing money because of interest.
Right. Inflation. Ah!
Yeah, but
What
I
is
bet-
inflation? What is inflation these days, you guys? Is it like 7% or 8%? I mean, Jeff's laughing. Why are you laughing, Jeff? Why is Jeff laughing? Boy, do you know what it is?
It's ridiculous.
How much is it, Jeff?
I don't know currently. And our government is not helping, but I will,
Well, aside from that, what is
discuss.
it? I mean,
I don't know
yeah.
what it is currently. Is it still at 9%, 10% annually?
Oh, even
Something.
that high. Yeah.
I quit
Ouch.
looking because it's just.
You
but
quit
it-
looking.
It is what it is. So my house that I bought less than 2 years ago has increased in value also because
So
of.
we want inflation
of-
working for us, not against us,
Well,
right? That's
we
what we
don't, we
want.
don't want it this high. I don't think, but you can make it work for you either way. There's different strategies to make it work for you.
There's a lot of
If
places.
you go
where
by, if you go by
Bruce?
April was 0.4%. So you multiply it by 12 to get the apparent annual adjusted rate. So in April, it was 4.8% for what that's worth.
Oh.
And it
Just
was
1
actually
month.
zero last July.
Dang.
So it's slowing down.
But that was just in a month, meaning that like you multiply
Yeah,
that
that
by
was it.
12.
That was April. Yeah, I don't know what it was January through May. I don't think they put out May's figures yet, but you could do the January through May in it and multiply it by what, 3 or something like that, or whatever the right number is. Yeah. So, and I thought I'd seen somewhere that some money market was offering 5.5%, but I don't know who that was. So you might be
You
able to
mean
get a
like a
little
bank
more.
that would give you interest? Is that what you're talking about? A money market? Oh, yeah, it's a savings account that earns money. Yes. That's what you're talking about. Okay.
there's also a lot of real estate people that will get you 6 to 12% back, and they're investing it into real estate.
Hard money lending. Yeah, those whole contracts and everything scare me to pieces. I had a guy approach me. I've had 2 people approach me to be a hard money lender, and it
No.
terrifies me. So
You-
I don't.
You aren't the lender. They do it all for you. It goes into a fund. I'll explain it to when you call.
Okay. Okay.
It's a good I got a bunch of money in one, and I got it in what they call the fund 3. You can put in as little as $1,000, and it's right at 8% I'm getting back on it.
Yeah. I'm talking about people who have come to me and said, hey, I've got this project. I want to buy this duplex. I want to buy, other investors. Can you lend me 20,000, 30,000, 50,000?
They're wanting to make you the private money lender. Yeah. I
Well,
understand.
right. And then I don't know how to do all the contracts and do all this stuff like that. And then I had a friend do the research, a friend in the mortgage business. I had him do the research on these properties that they were wanting to buy. And a lot of times these people who were using these properties as collateral didn't even own the properties, or the properties needed work, or all this other stuff. And it was like essentially, if the deals didn't go through, I'd be totally screwed. So it's like, and I'd
Right.
be out however much money, so good thing he knew how to do the background work on these people and look up what they owned and what they were offering as collateral or whatever if the deal goes south, right? And then I was just like, I have enough anxiety as it is. I don't want to be just like, here's 50,000. I'll just
That's a
no.
whole business, Mary. Yeah, good point. That's a whole other business that you have to know what you're doing to get into it and be willing to accept the property if the deal goes south, that's collateral. You got to check out the property and the people and neighborhoods and what the values are. So
Exactly.
no. Doesn't sound like you're ready for that kind of business yet. So
No, it's just too much stress. Has anybody thought about does anyone know anything else about the LRA or anything like that? I know I have my little fantasy world about the LRA. Has anybody got anything? I don't know, have any other information or news on anything that's going on with them? I know they're taking bids.
that is in the city, and the LRA properties are probably not properties where you would be located in neighborhoods that you would be interested in living in. Now,
Good point. Okay, so back to that, the LRA, I know it's not called the LRA, but the county version, I was on the county website for the, not the foreclosed properties of the county, but basically the tax delinquent. That's because that's what the LRA is, tax delinquent county properties. And so I was getting on the St. Louis County.gov or something like that, or I'm not sure where I was at, but there's a whole list of the tax delinquent properties. And it's like basically the county version of the city's LRA is my understanding. And then you can make bids on them. And then they have like it's almost like, isn't it kind of like that lien, the tax liens where you make bids on like whatever the person owes. And then if you win the bid, you can win the property or something like that. And it seemed really complicated. Who knows about that?
Well, there's a lot to know about. That's a whole other topic in itself.
But is that what's that called though? I know it's a topic, but is that tax liens or is that some, what do we call that?
Well, if you're talking about tax liens, those are, that's before it goes to the, back to the county. You usually have like, there's 3 auctions before you can
Yeah.
buy and get the property for the tax, which means that the property is probably 6 years in delinquent in taxes. And the difference of what I hear about St. Louis County is they will not negotiate anything less than the value of the taxes owed, plus all the delinquency paid. And in most cases, if they've made it all the way to that list, that nobody has bid on it for 6 years, then it's probably the property is probably not worth what the taxes and delinquency has totals up to. We had a discussion about a particular property somebody brought up was in their neighborhood several months ago.
Oh,
And yeah, a couple of us looked at it and said, no, it's not worth. It's on the surface. Yeah, it seemed reasonable, but yeah, if you could even find a house on the property.
well, so what happens to it then? Does it just go into foreclosure?
Yes,
I mean,
that's why St. Louis County has, well, St. Louis City has over 25,000 properties.
it's 25,000 now. I thought it was 5,000.
The county probably has more than that. I'm not sure. I haven't heard the offer in the St. Louis County, because they don't negotiate anything that's made.
Oh, so you can't bid, and it's not like
and there's programs that are working on it. We've been in touch with some of the people that are working to reform the system. There's a statewide organization going on trying to have a statewide land bank that these properties will go into to try to get back on the tax rolls, because apparently St. Louis County is not the only entity that has this issue of getting tax delinquent properties back on the tax rolls. But and their rules are so restrictive though that it makes it difficult for an investor to take any interest in it. So it's whole nother process in itself. Yeah, and we've had speakers come back to just a couple months ago. We had talking about the properties in the St. Louis city, the city of St. Louis, that were delinquent. There's over 25,000. And in fact, we got something coming up, hopefully this fall. We're working with those folks that are trying to do the vacancy initiative or in St. Louis City, trying to get properties reoccupied and get back into the hands of homeowners. And we're trying to work on having a bus tour. They're going to have the properties that and some neighborhood spokespeople that are looking for investors, and we're going to provide a bus full of investors to go look at those properties, hopefully. But we'll have more on that coming up. But
that sounds fun.
It's one of the items we're working on right now for probably coming up in the fall.
It'd be cool to have an interior designer speak, or like some of the artsier side of real estate investing. Like, like how to design your rehab and like all this different stuff, like on a budget, like design on a budget, design like with an investor mindset, but a designer eye, all that fun.
We had what's her name from Flair Staging, who does design consulting too in the past. So yeah, we've had speakers speak on that. And if you got somebody in particular you like to hear, yeah, put it on the survey, or put your comments on the survey. We'll we'll look at it and try to arrange somebody.
Well, yeah.
Okay, I've been keeping track of the chat here. I see
Eli keeps posting properties, so I don't know if anybody,
house in Carolina, Sound Line, North Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina.
Eli, are you there?
He had his video up for a while. Looked like he
Can
was
you hear me? Can you hear
yeah,
me?
okay.
Yeah, do you want
Hey,
to
Eli.
tell us about your
Go ahead, Eli.
properties?
Tell us about your property.
Yes, I was having technical difficulties earlier. Thank you for having me. Yeah, so I mean, I have about 3 properties now that I'm trying to get disposed. And I leave a lot of meat on the bone for the end buyer. So I have one in South Carolina, like I just posted. I have one in Texas, and I have one in Arkansas and New York as well. So I don't know if anybody here is not local or does national or is, wants to buy somewhere else. I would be glad to, share those properties with them. But the one in South Carolina that I sent is actually 2 properties in one. So the lot next to it, which is cleared and level, you could actually build a house on top of it. Plus the house itself, which is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with, a large lot. So in total, it's worth, even double the price. There's a lot of value add that you can put in there. And I know, like a lot of people were speaking before, the inventory is very low for those kind of things. So it's very valuable. I have another one in Arkansas, and that one is going for 185. I'm asking 185 for it. But that comes with 2. And then the second one, oh, I see Jeff, you said your email. Okay. So the second one in Arkansas is a single family also. It's also a 3-2. It's in Arkansas and it's on 1 acre of land. And so, like, I don't know how it is in Missouri, and I did a little bit of investing in Missouri earlier last year, but you can't find houses, for less, a 3-2 for less than 150, 175. So, this is a 3-2, they're still living in it, it just needs some updating, normal update, cosmetic updates, kitchen, bath, paint, and, you could rent it right away because they're living in it now. They're just moving, and that's why I have to sell it. They have to sell it.
Okay,
And that one,
yeah,
go ahead.
why don't you give us some contact information? Because even if there's
Sure.
not somebody on this call, we do post this on our website for people to come and listen to later. So
Okay.
if you could give your information, we might have somebody that would listen to our stuff. Yeah, we have people from all over the country that pop in on our website.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Lloyd. I will definitely put that in the chat. My
And go ahead
email
and say,
my phone
can you
number.
give us a number or an email? Just
Sure. Sure. My phone number is 786-286-2223. That's my direct phone number.
Okay.
And my email is invest, INVEST, real, REAL, estator, ESTATOR, at Gmail. So I'll put those 2 in the chat.
Okay. Yeah, put it in the chat too. And that way folks can get in touch with you. Okay.
Thank you, Lloyd, for having me.
Okay. You're welcome. Thanks for coming in today.
My pleasure.
Eli, how long you been in the group?
Well, I just found this group. So I just seen it like a month ago, and I've been wanting to join. But today I finally, got the chance to join.
Cool. That's nifty.
Yeah.
And where are you actually located?
I'm located in Miami, Florida.
Wow.
So yeah, I've been doing this over almost 10 years now.
Wow. So are you members of real estate groups all over the country?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So, but I love to, network, and because I'm trying to do things more on a national level, instead of,
National. Okay.
my niche. Anything here, I know that, it's easier for me to sell, but I've been expanding my marketing and everything so I can be national.
Very cool. Well, blessings with your business. It's exciting.
Likewise, likewise. And I hear you got a lot of things going on, and I see there's a lot of potential here. I'm happy for, your endeavors.
Thank you.
Mary and Charles and Lloyd, Jeff, everybody that, contributed. Um, I hope the best of blessings for you.
Thanks. All these people here are big timers. I'm just learning to get my feet wet around here. These are the
Sounds
seasoned
great.
folks of St. Louis in this group.
Yeah, sounds great.
They
sounds
know
great.
what's up.
We may
tell.
not all be big timers, but a lot of us are old timers.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, you guys been around, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. I'm like, I don't know
We've been doing it
anything.
for a while. It doesn't mean there's not room for more learning, but we just been doing it for a while.
Yeah, I've been listening to going to the groups for a few years and just gotta like jump it. Just gotta
That's
get
what
in
you
there.
gotta do. Just keep coming back. That's how you get to be an old timer. Just keep coming back and keep
Just
doing
keep coming back.
it. Yeah. Keep trying to improve. Take it one step at a time.
Yeah. Can't just watch HGTV.
No, that's right. You can't sit back on the couch and watch TV or Netflix all day.
Yeah. Yes, Jeff, it's the same time every week. This meeting is at 11 a.m. on Fridays every week. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and on the first Friday or thereabouts, we usually try to have Kathy Davis. She's an attorney who specializes in eviction here in the St. Louis metropolitan area. So we call it the Ask the Attorney Friday because she's very open and willing to share information that she knows about legal questions related to real estate. So. And she's also very good in eviction. So if you're in the rental market, no matter how good the market is, you're always going to have one occasionally. So she's done a couple for me. Okay. Anybody else got anything? Well, I don't know. If not, it's going on noon here. So
I should
nice,
call people out.
good session. Good session.
Thanks everybody for your help.
Okay, Mary, nice having you on. Hopefully you can find something that meets your needs here and get you moving on. If that's what you deem you want to be doing. You're the only one that can make that decision. Oh. Okay. Well, anyway, hope to see everybody. If you can make it to breakfast at the Shack next Tuesday on the 13th. Had a good group there at the Shack in Creport. Had a good breakfast and coffee and had a good business to share, trade stories and get some advice. And then we had a good rotation of people. There's a core of people that have been coming every month since we started back in February, and every month there's a new group coming in and out, and some new faces to see. So yeah, it's a fun place to be. And then on the 20th, at the Shriners Center, John was said earlier, have our main meeting. And yeah, if you got your tax bills and you think you want to do something about it, this would be the time this is who you want to hear. Pat Heiser talking about how they have successfully appealed a number of their real estate assessments. So like I said, I came in almost a little late to this one because I was engrossed preparing two of mine, the appeals process. I already downloaded the forms. I was doing my comps, filling out the paperwork, but I'm going to hold off turning them in until after I hear Pat. I'm sure she'll have some other additional advice for me to include something else in my my package. Because here in St. Charles, I don't know why it's like everybody else. They want you have to give, when you turn in your form to request an appointment with the Board of Equalization, they want to have all your backup data so they can supposedly look at it ahead of time. How much they look at it ahead of time, I don't know, but they want to have it all there. And then yeah, I think you can, in St. Charles anyway, you can just say, just look at this, and you don't want to have a hearing with them, or you can have a telephone hearing. Even this, they had an option for a telephone hearing. I'd rather go in and talk to people face to face, and I've had pretty good luck in the past. I talk with people face to face and showing them the pictures why your property is not worth what the average sale is these days. So anyway, good, should be a good meeting. You have any other comments, John, before we sign off?
No, I don't really have anything more. Really good, some really good discussions today. Yeah, Mary, I think Amber gave you good advice. Invest in yourself first. Don't rush out there to do anything. If everything's going real well for you, it doesn't hurt to maybe rent for a few months just to see what you want to do. So you're definitely in the right place networking. But yeah, a lot of good stuff. I appreciate everybody showing up today. A lot of good smiling faces, a lot of good stuff going on, but make sure you show up for your taxes. And you know, that's something I know, like I said earlier, that's something that Laura and I, we changed our plans to make sure we're there, because I know Pat Heiser is one of the most knowledgeable persons on this in the whole area. So bring your pen, paper, and an open mind. So that's about all I got to say. If nothing else, we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Lloyd.
Sweet. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.